favorite brownie recipes. It's actually, I call it a fudge recipe, really. It is whole food, plant-based. Everything that we're going to use is 100% from plants. It is from the How Not to Die cookbook. It's by Michael Greger. He's one of the best, world-renowned plant-based doctors. So he's actually published this on his website. So I will find the link for this and copy it over, but I have made a couple of little edits of my own. What we're going to start with is 1 cup of walnuts. You'll need a very good food processor for this to work. And then I've got about 1 1/3 cups of medjool dates. I have never heard of these until sometime last year. They're huge dates and they've got a very big seed in them. You can use whatever kind of dates you want to use, but I really like these. They are a little bit more expensive though, so if you just buy little bags of dates, they'll work as well. Just make sure you get the seeds out of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to pulse this really well until that is a nice fine ground mixture, and then we're going to add our next ingredients. Okay, so I processed this for probably about a minute, so it'll depend on how powerful your processor is. So I want to show you all kind of the consistency of this. It is going to be very coarse still, just because of the mixture that we're working with. So you want it to look about like this. And then the next thing we're going to add, put this back on here, is approximately a 1/2 cup of peanut butter. Now, I know I've shown you guys this before. This is 100%. The only ingredient in here is peanuts. That being said, it does have a lot of the oil on top. It's just the natural oil that's in the peanuts. So I don't use a measuring cup. I just guess about how much I want to put in there. And you can use almond butter. I think Dr. Greger's original recipe actually calls for almond butter. So you're certainly free to use that if you prefer that. Basically whatever you have on hand is great. Okay, so we are going to go on and process that, and then we'll have our next step right after that. Okay, so our next ingredient is just going to be cocoa powder. So I generally use around 1/4 cup. I believe Dr. Greger's recipe calls for about half. I found that I don't really want that much cocoa powder. So once you add in the peanut butter or whatever it is you decide you want to use, that's plenty. It'll get a little more of a sticky looking consistency. That's exactly what you want. And then add the cocoa powder and we'll process this. And then I'm actually going to go on and add a little bit of water. The original recipe does not call for that, but to me it makes it more fudgy. And it kind of just depends on, basically exactly what your ratio is as to how much water. So I would start with like, 1/2 tablespoon or something. I'm just kind of going to pour it in till I get the look that I want. Once everything starts to stick together really well, it kind of forms a ball as it's processing, and you'll know that that's where it is. If you put too much water in, you're going to have a lot of oil. The water does draw out the natural oils from, the peanut butter already had the oil in it, but the natural oils that's in the walnuts as well. So it is going to look oily. It's going to be oily on your fingers, but the oil's already in there. The water's just going to draw it out a little bit. So we're going to pulse this, and then we're ready to put it into our pan. We'll show you what it's going to look like. All right, so I added to my mixture probably about 2 tablespoons of water overall. If you're hearing that squeak, our dog is enjoying some playtime right now. I told her not to, but Flossie. You can grab her toy if you want to there, John. I don't know how loud that's going to be for you all, so playtime in a minute, Flossie. All right. So what we want is maybe if we could zoom in on this a little bit, John. So I have some parchment paper here, and as you can see, this is very oily. Use whatever thickness you want. This is just like an 8x8 pan. It's not going to fill it all the way out because I like for this to be thick. And then you can, of course, always top with some extra walnuts if you want to, some almonds, whatever you'd like to do. But if you can, I don't know, can you see this well, John? So you can see it's kind of got that oil that's been pulled out. I always just kind of dab it off afterwards, so you can certainly do that. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator to chill. Usually I do that for about 20 minutes before I cut into them. But these are delicious, completely whole foods, and you're really going to think that you're eating a piece of chocolate fudge. So really try this recipe. You are going to love it.